You all asked for a video on Scriabin's poem Satanique, so I'm going to provide some background on the piece, analyze 8 measures of it, and then play the excerpt while singing in solfège. This video is intended for a mature audience, and I'm Jay Beard and I make videos about music theory and Scriabin, so check out the lessons and courses that I offer and please like, comment, and subscribe. Poem Satanique comes from his middle era. Apparently a lot of us like it as it sounds innovative with complex textures and whole tone harmony, and yet it still sounds very tonal and pleasant compared to his later works. His poem works normally have more of a narrative or idea being portrayed, and while I couldn't find much information on what Scriabin was thinking when he wrote it, I'll share my own opinion of what I imagine the narrative to be when I listen to the piece. I believe I read that the piece depicts 2 people falling in love, portrayed by the motif da 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 da. At first they have very pure intentions, and then I imagine the devil tempts them with sexual lust, da 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 da, and when they give in to their temptations we hear the devil's laughter. Ha 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 ha. Scriabin's ability to portray feelings of sexual and spiritual desire is really at the core of his artistic expression. Now let's explore how he creates this feeling of tension and yearning by emphasizing dissonance in the harmony. My favorite motif in this piece, which we'll be analyzing, is the tension and release motif. I mentioned this excerpt in my video on the whole tone scale because it's one of the best examples of the 7 flat 13 chord being used as a dissonance that resolves from flat 6 to 5. Scriabin utilizes the same sort of tension and release frequently in this era. For example, this is precisely what's being done in the very opening of the Poem of Ecstasy. So normally with this motif the tension moves from flat 6 to 5, but now we're going to analyze this 8-bar section where the tension moves to progressively higher and higher scale degrees. The solfège helps reveal the various use of scale degrees, and we're usually comparing the intervals off the bass. The melody begins a ninth above the bass, or on the 2. Ready, ready. Then it's at the 3rd. Mi, re, mi, re. Then it's at the sharp 4. Fi, fa, fi, fa. Then it's at the 5th from F sharp. So, fi, so, fi. Then we get to the original version on the flat 6. Le, so, le, so. Then, like the original version, we go up a whole step. Le, so, le, so. So the melody exploring each of these scale degrees is really what's driving this section. From a harmonic perspective, the piece starts and ends in the key of C, but this section is a classic sort of dominant pedal build-up, where the bass builds tension staying on the 5th scale degree. So we start off here in the key of G with a G9. Then we get a G9 flat 13. Then we get an A7 5 of 5 where G is the 7 that wants to resolve down. Then it does resolve down to an F sharp 7. Now we get a version of the motif similar to the original, but what's different about it is that we have a tonic pedal with C staying in the bass. The way the bass moves back and forth between the tritone reminds me of his late era, like the climax in Sonata 7. After that, the motif transposes up a whole step like the original version, and here the C fits into the A flat chord, and the last measure of the excerpt goes to an F chord that the bass also aligns with. After the excerpt ends, the tonic pedal remains basically till the end. The lovers give in to their temptation, and then there's lots of devil laughter. To me, it feels like most of the piece in the beginning is just developing the motifs of lovers, temptation, and devil laughter, and then this excerpt is where the drama really unfolds with temptation. Lastly, I'm going to sing and play the excerpt, but I have one final quote to share from Arthur Schopenhauer, a philosopher Scriabin admired, which has never been more appropriate to share. Directly after copulation, the devil's laughter is heard.